Ladies and gentlemen, we may have bullied them into making a 9th anniversary pre-registration rewards. Let's go, baby. Joking aside, they probably just plan to do this, but because they release everything really late at night, it seems like I released my video and then like 8 hours later they responded. But let's go and check it out. We'll talk about the patch notes in just a minute, but I did want to cover this because I don't want to make a separate video for it. So 9th year pre-registration page is now open. You can find the link. I'll link it down below in the description and in the pinned comment. This is the best pre-registration reward we have ever seen. So if you go over to the website, it looks really cool. You see Hope, you see Odin, blah, blah, blah. You click pre-register and it just scrolls down for you. And then you just have to, I already did it. You just have to type in your email address, choose whether you're iOS or Android, and click pre-register. That's all you have to do. Look at these rewards, boys. 900 crystals, not 800, 900 crystals, which is a full uniform. A potential transcendent selector, which is way better than a tier 2 selector, and then 9 million gold. So this is big ups to the devs. They not only brought this back, but then they made the rewards, in my opinion, twice as good. They made the rewards twice as good. So if they never improve the rewards past this, I'll be totally fine. This is absolutely amazing. I have to say hats off to the devs. This honestly softens the blow on how shitty the patch note is for the actual update that we're getting tonight. This is amazing. I love this. So yeah, remember that pre-registering now doesn't mean you're going to get the rewards now. You're going to be getting the rewards on the 30th of April, which is when the actual, anniversary is. But you will also have 2 weeks to collect those rewards. So in case you can't log in for whatever reason for 1 or 2 days, you can still collect them later. It doesn't expire right away. But you should be logging in every day because, like I said, the pre-registration, the pre-anniversary rewards and then the anniversary daily rewards are absolutely incredible. Now, they have a couple of other things on this website. They actually went all out for it. It's much more robust than last year. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you get the 9th anniversary album where they basically cover the greatest moments of all time. It's really nice. It's really cool. So you have the most popular teaser video that they ever released in terms of like YouTube views. If you cycle here, you have the most popular uniform, Wolverine. This I guess is the most purchased uniform. That's crazy, and it's really cool, and it shows you like who's popular basically. The most popular tier 4 heroes, Jean Grey and Thor. This was pretty interesting as well, I thought. The most defeated world boss, 21 million times. Almost 22 million times for Mephisto. I love stats like this. I think it's really, really cool. I would love for them to do more like infographic stuff like this. And then the most popular heroes in battle, which is almost the same thing as the one we just talked about, the most popular tier 4s. But this also includes, I guess, tier 3 and tier 2 versions. You have Jean Grey, who's the most popular for both PvP game modes. And then you have Thor, who's the most popular for World Boss Legend. Not really a surprise there, but pretty cool. And then they have this thing called the Agent Award Ceremony. So you just type in your nickname. So I'm going to type in Cynicalex. And it says they're awarding all agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to express their gratitude. So you click send. And you get this little, I don't know what this is called. It's almost like an award or some sort of like plaque. And it says the greatest agent of all time, Cynicalex. That's me. You are hereby awarded the above for fighting the good fight as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then it's got Nick Fury's signature. And then you can download the award. I'm going to download that. So that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool. I think that's really, really cool. And I'm actually going to do it one more time with a capital C and download that one as well. So yeah, I think this is really cool. I think, again, stuff like this, some people just shrug it off or whatever. It doesn't give you any rewards in game, this kind of stuff, the infographic stuff. But I really like this. I really, really like this. And then you have the countdown check-in event for the tier 3 selector. And then they tell you, and they have a little breakdown of all the rewards, which are with a really nice infographic, like a really nice graphic here. So yeah, I really like this. I think this is really nice. Whoever put this together, kudos to you. You worked really hard. The website looks gorgeous. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, this should ease the burden, ease the punishment that you're about to experience with the patch notes. But just before we get to the patch notes, I want to cover that we also have the Black Order update event. Surprise, surprise! It's Ebony and Thane. Okay, the uniforms are not 50% off; they're 40% off. So if anything, you want to wait until the 50% off discount. We do have the token event. Some people were saying we weren't going to get it, so you can still get the P card, you can still get the Mega Tier 2, you can still get the 4-star artifact. We have the regular events, we have the regular login, okay, and then we have the gold bonus mission. We have 50% off all artifacts, and then we also have a 1 to 6-star artifact chance up event. I highly recommend that you skip this event because they will do it again during the anniversary, and it will also be discounted, I believe, at 40% off. It may not be 1 to 6 star, it may be 1 to 4 star, but in overall, I think it's still a better deal because it's discounted. One, you can still pull, I think you can still pull 5 and 6 stars, maybe not. And then you also get the tokens, right? But in any event, I don't know. Spending crystals now when it's full cost, to me, when the update is so close, like when the anniversary is so close, is a little bit sketchy. Anywho, we now come to the actual patch. The patch is going to be, so it's not an update. This is not an update with maintenance. This is just a patch. So there's going to be no maintenance. You're just going to close your game and reopen it around 8 p.m. Pacific, which is 11 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be live around 10:30, 11. These updates are usually, these patches are usually a little bit early, so you can look forward to it a little bit earlier. You basically just close your game, reopen it, and then you'll be prompted to download the patch. Now, the patch itself is very small. It's a uniform for Ebony Maw, where they keep him Blast, and then a uniform for Thane, and then, of course, the upgrades and the artifacts. I'm not going to go too detailed into these two uniforms here because I am going to go into detail about it, but let's just go through it. Okay, so they're not 50% off. That's the first mistake. Okay, I like that they kept him Blast. I think that's good. He's a villain. His abilities are Evil, Mind Resist, and Black Order, so it's nice that he has a Black Order tag. His uniform effect applies to all allies, and it increases damage dealt to universal types, and it decreases damage received from universal types. So they kept his uniform. They kept his support ability as basically PvP only and other world boss legends only. It doesn't apply to Black Swan, of course, because she's a speed type. It does apply to Jean. It does apply to Kang, and those bosses are still difficult. It doesn't really, I mean, it does apply to Null and Gore and Ultron, but it doesn't really matter because those bosses are so easy, right? You didn't need Ebony for those bosses anyways, so it's very, very easy. This is mostly, in my opinion, this is mostly a PvP ability. And again, they only increased the increased damage. They actually didn't. They only increased this one by 5%, the increased basic damage, and they didn't touch the decreased basic damage. So they barely tweaked his ability as a support. So I wouldn't even call this uniform an upgrade as far as the support tags go. His tier 2 passive is a little bit better than it was before. They just increased his skill damage, bonus damage by 5%. They kept everything else the same. So again, very, very minute buffs here. His other passive here, Voice of Darkness, is it? Yeah, Voice of Darkness. This one is improved quite a bit. So before he just had mind damage and damage reduction, they bumped the damage reduction by 25% from 30 to 40. They added the super armor all defense. That is nice, but that's it. And then for the skills, there's really not much to talk about. He does have 2 heals. He has a 25 heal on 3 and a 25 heal on 4. But he doesn't have any iframe ignore. He doesn't have any like reflect. He doesn't have any sort of fun abilities, really. Just sort of your standard fare, your standard sort of abilities. This is my issue with Ebony Maw, and we'll talk about it a little bit later once I, cover the totality of the character, because you don't know his tier 4 ability, you don't know his artifact. But just keep in mind that they created a uniform for a character. They're giving the character a tier 4, and they barely tweaked the character. Right? There's barely any changes. Of course, he's going to deal more damage. Of course, he's going to deal more damage. Of course, he's going to have new skill animations, but they didn't give him any new effects, and they barely buffed, barely improved his existing passives. So to me, this seems like an easy pass, easy skip uniform. He wasn't even being used before now. And then Thane's getting his Phoenix Force uniform. He's staying universal, also not 50% off, staying a villain. He gets the Phoenix Force durability and evil tags, so quite strong tags there. His uniform effect is pretty lame. It just gives him immunity to incapacitation and 30% fire damage. It is for PvP, the immunity to incapacitation, but this is not very good, to be honest. This is not really enough. His ultimate ability, it's cool. It gives him a damage proc. It gives him ignore, dodge, invincibility. It's whatever. He has Amberize and Panic. So at least for Thane, they're keeping his Amberize effect, and they're also adding in the new Panic effect that they added for Dr. Voodoo and that they created for Dr. Voodoo and Man-Thing. They're adding this to Thane. So at least Thane, with his first new uniform, he's going to feel a bit more different because he has this new ability. He keeps his debuff Cleanse Leadership, and then his passive is going to give him 30% damage reduction, as well as the 30% all defense with the skill damage, bonus damage, and the super armor. So yeah, they didn't really, they buffed his skill damage, bonus damage a little bit by 10 and 10 and 10% equally. And then they kept his damage reduction the same. And then the super armor, all defense is just added in brand new. So that is nice that they basically added it, but that's basically the only line of text that's new. The other nice thing for Thane is they added iframe ignore, which is good. So his second skill now has iframe ignore and remove active buff incapacitation. So that's quite nice. It doesn't really have any other meta effects. It doesn't have any buffs, any heals. It just has the ignore targeting effect. But we'll have to wait and see how good his autoplay rotation is. He has an incapacitation on all of his other skills with a barrier and 25% heal there and a 35% heal. So both of these characters have multiple healing skills for a large chunk of their HP, which is nice. Overall, I would say Thane looks better than Ebony, which is weird. But anyways. And then we see Ebony Maw's tier 4, which applies to enemies mind control, which won't work because of debuff leaderships. And then increased basic damage, which also won't work because of debuff cleanse and, you know, those debuff leaderships and debuff passives. So the first part of his tier 4 is just basically useless. And then the second part increases his basic attack by just 50%, which is very low. But it also deals damage. But the damage is not 1,000 like a blue dragon. It's 200%. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what Mind Dismantler looks like. It has a cool name, but it sounds pretty lame on paper. And then Thane's tier 3 looks very cool. He basically just combines this dark energy and the amber energy, and then he does Kamehameha. It looks really sick. I gotta say, it looks really sick. It's similar to Blue Marvel's Kamehameha ability with his tier 3. I think it looks awesome. I love the color combination. I love the sort of flame on one side and the rock on the other side. It feels very impactful. I love it. I love it. I think it's really cool. I don't think Thane is going to be like a massive meta breaker, but I'll still enjoy playing with him now and then because of this, because of animations like this. And then we get their artifacts. So Thane's artifact sucks. It's just shit. It's the PvP one that ignores non-boss enemy damage decrease, but it's only up to 25% based on a 6-star artifact. So yeah, it's kind of poopy. And then Ebony's is a support artifact for Black Order allies. Now keep in mind, Thanos is not a Black Order ally, but Black Swan is, Ebony is, and other characters are. But Thane isn't. Thane is not Black Order. Yes, it's very confusing. And then it increases damage to heroes and it increases damage to villains. So that's a pretty good artifact. The problem is that there are not very many good Black Order allies. Really, right now, the only good Black Order allies are Black Swan and Ebony Maw. Well, potentially Ebony Maw, but really just Black Swan right now. And then they made some changes, some, you know, bug fix, etc. sort of things. Nothing really to talk about. So now let's spend the rest of the video talking about why these patch notes are so bad. So basically, to me, and probably to a lot of other players, these patch notes reek of having no direction and no focus, right? You take a look at the patch notes and you say to yourself, okay, the character that's getting a new uniform in a tier 3, they're positioning him for PvP and they give him iframe ignore. Okay, do they give him additional passives to, you know, make him tanky enough so that he can actually survive? Well, they give him super armor and 30% all defense. But they don't increase his damage reduction. They don't add like a passive healing or a revive or immortality or anything like that. Okay, so Thane's probably going to get one-shotted by everybody. Yeah, probably. Okay. And then let's take a look at the other character. They're making him a support for PvP, and they're going to give him a tier 4. Okay, so he's going to have more stats and stuff like that. Are they going to give him any PvP effects? No. We're not going to give him iframe ignore. We're not going to give him counterattack. We're not going to give him reflect or reflect reduction. We're not going to give him any effects whatsoever that apply for PvP. We're basically just going to take his existing effect and bump it up by a pathetic 5%, and only 5% on one of the 2 percentages, by the way. So basically what we're telling you is that if you were using Ebony Maw as a support for PvP, you can continue using Ebony Maw as a support for PvP. If he's going to get one shot regardless, whether he's in the Space Hitler uniform or the old uniform, you might as well save yourself the 1,000 crystals. Because there's really only a 5% damage increase difference between these 2 uniforms. Right? If he doesn't have iframe ignore here, guys, he's going to just get one-shotted. Right? Wolverine's going to come in and press his 5th skill, and he's going to one-shot Ebony Maw. And there's nothing you can fucking do about it, because he doesn't have iframe ignore. And it really just makes no sense. It really genuinely makes no sense. And they built up this whole idea of Thanos summoning Thane and Ebony Maw and calling his cabal to him. And then you say, okay, So let's make the buffs on his artifact apply only to Black Order allies. Guess who's not Black Order, guys? Thanos. Okay, but hang on, Alex. You've also forgot about PvE because Ebony Maw's new uniform effect applies to universals, so it applies to PvE. Oh, right. So the new uniform for Ebony Maw doesn't work for the new World Boss Legend that they introduced. Huh. So you have here a tier 4 support character who can only support you in PvP, where currently there is no PvP game mode that forces you to use tier 4 characters. So there's literally zero reason to tier 4 Ebony Maw. Huh. Now there is an outside chance, a very small chance, but I will admit there is a chance that Ebony Maw can compete with or possibly surpass, however insane it sounds, Magneto in ABX and ABL, because he does find himself as a blast male supervillain. Now, I do recognize that. Do I think it's absolute insanity that that will happen? Yes. Do I think it's also mostly useless to point this out because Magneto already gets to the cap of the score, or so close to the cap of the score, even if you're an average ABX player like me, that it really doesn't matter? I'm scoring 17.5 million with Magneto. Am I really going to buy and tier 4 Ebony Maw for just a score increase of 5%, maybe 10%? No, I'm not going to do that. No one's going to do that. So it really just, it gives me a brain aneurysm. I get sort of like immense psychic damage when I see these patch notes, because it really just tells me that whoever is making these decisions either hates these characters or doesn't understand the game on a fundamental level. And it's really disappointing because you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving money on the table, a lot of money on the table, right? The art department worked on these uniforms. They did a really good job. These uniforms are going to look really good in game, right? You can already see some of the, you know, some of the renderings here. These uniforms are going to look really good in game. They probably have cool animations, and you wasted all of their talent. You wasted all of their talent by doing shit like this, where you increase one number by 5%, and you increase the other number by 5%, and then you expect the players to be ignorant and to say, wow, 5%, let's go. Well, they're not going to do that, because people like myself and other content creators are going to expose your shenanigans. So you have to just accept that your players are smarter than this, and you have to start treating your players with respect and actually releasing, either release uniforms that make a difference or don't release the uniform at all. Yeah? Because this actually hurts the game more than it helps the game. I know that the devs are not going to listen to this part of the video for sure, 100%. But really, it reflects what I said the other day, that giving a small reward is actually worse than giving no reward at all, right? Giving like 50 crystals for the anniversary, I know they didn't do that, but if they were to do that, if they were to give 50 crystals away for some big event, the slap in the face, the insult is actually more damaging than no reward at all. I'm not saying that I would rather no update here. That's not what I'm saying, but that's kind of what I'm saying, because we just wasted a tier 4 slot on this shit. Right, this Squidward ass clown, it just wasted a tier 4 slot, and some unfortunate bastard is going to tier 4 Ebony Maw and be massively disappointed, because he's just like, genuinely, he's just gonna get one shot in PvP. How is he not gonna get one shot? Please, how is he not gonna get, or two shotted, whatever, right? And then they're gonna be like, man, I just wasted all my resources on a native tier 2, tier 4. And then they're just going to uninstall, or they're just going to play, you know, they're going to stop playing or whatever. And it's just like, man, why do you guys have to do this? Again, what is the big deal about making these characters good? This is what boggles my mind. I could sit here for hours railing against this shit. It's like, why go to all the trouble of releasing a character? Why go through all the trouble of making artwork and making skill animations and updating the model that you're rigging for? Why go through all this trouble if you're just going to add 5% and 5% and then call it a fucking day? Why? You go through all this trouble. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. This feels like a filler episode. It feels like a filler episode with filler content, and it's upsetting, because we only get 10 updates a year anyways. And I thought years ago that when they transitioned to the style of updates where they had you know, a mid-month, they basically divided the update into two, and they had like the main update and the mid-month. I thought it was good for the game, but it's not good for the game when you do shit like this, because people were bored for a week already and they were looking forward to this update. And now they're looking at it and they're like, wow, this is so boring. I don't give a shit about these characters. They look so bad. And now they're going to be bored for 2 more weeks. So you've basically, what you've done psychologically is you've just exhausted your players' patience and you've bored them out of their minds for the 3 weeks leading up to the anniversary. I cannot think of a stupider way to engage with your audience when you're trying to build them up to spend money at the end of the month. You want to increase happiness. You want to increase hype. You are literally doing the opposite. You are decreasing happiness and decreasing hype. And again, I ask, for what? What was the point? What was the point of designing General's hand? What was the point of rigging it? What was the point of the animations? What was the point of having some bastard intern write out all these patch notes? What was the point of having the same guy or somebody else translate them into every language under the sun? All of this is just wasted. You're putting the car in neutral and then you're ramming on the gas and no one cares. No one cares. And it sucks, man. So yeah, whoever balances characters can just shove their head straight up their ass and fucking disappear. That would be great. And then could they just hire somebody new, please? Can you just hire someone new to balance characters? Because clearly whoever is balancing characters has no fucking idea what they're doing. Genuinely. Okay? I'm pretty sure I could have I'm pretty sure I could pick up I could adopt a kid, and within 6 months I could train the kid to understand this game better than whoever the fuck does you understand what I'm saying, okay? I've had enough. I'm so tired of these shit patch notes, bro. I'm so tired, bro. Just stop releasing updates then. Just skip, bro. Just take 2 weeks off. If you're only gonna do a good job every 4 weeks, then just do it every 4 weeks, okay? Thanos was good, Black Swan was good, but then you guys shit the bed. 2 weeks later, you guys shit the bed. What's going on? Bro, just get whoever made Black Swan and Thanos, just get them to do the rest of the updates, please. Whoever's doing this obviously is a clown or deeply, deeply inexperienced. And just stop. Just please stop. Please, or learn, bro. Or just learn. Just learn. Just learn. Because I'm gonna do, and Commander is gonna do, and you know, all the other content creators are gonna do the same thing. The update's gonna come out. We're gonna react. We're gonna tell you, hey guys, Ebony Maw could have been good if you did this or this or this. And then none of you guys listen, and then you don't fucking listen. And then in 2 months, we're going to be back here again with another mid-month where you release some other clown-ass tier 4 that's a support type and doesn't do anything and just gets his cheeks or her cheeks clapped and is useless. And some ugly schmo is going to tier 4 this character and then look at themselves in the mirror and be like, wow, I just wasted like 45 days of farming for this shit. And then you wonder why the player retention is down, and you wonder why players only play 1 game mode and log out, and why the daily active user is down and the daily active time is down. Yo, I don't know what's going on. I'm so fucking stupid. All right, I'm done ranting. I'll see you guys tonight on the live stream. Take care.